They say the most dangerous thief is not the one who breaks into your house. It is the one you invite in. 6 months ago, I met a man who knew my favorite wine, my biggest fears, my childhood dreams, and the exact words I needed to hear whenever I felt weak. I thought it was love. But tonight, standing barefoot on the marble floor of his penthouse, holding a shattered glass in my hand, I finally understood the truth. Tunde did not love me. He researched me. He studied my grief, my bank accounts, my habits, my passwords, my family, my loneliness. And by tomorrow morning, if I had signed one final document, every naira I had worked for would have disappeared into a trust I could never touch again. This was not romance. It was a meticulously designed heist. And I was not his fiance. I was his target. But Tunde made one mistake. He forgot that before I was his bride-to-be, I was an investment analyst. My name is Amara. As a senior investment analyst, my job was simple: spot risk before it destroyed value. I was trained to look past beautiful numbers, polished presentations, and confident smiles. I knew how to read hidden flaws in balance sheets. I knew how to detect weakness behind expensive confidence. At least, I thought I did. Then I met Tunde Adewale. It happened at a charity auction in Victoria Island. I had been admiring a painting all evening, a bold, abstract piece of a woman standing alone in front of a burning city. I loved it, but I never intended to bid. Then Tunde appeared. He did not approach me with a cheap compliment. He did not ask for my number. He simply raised his paddle and outbid an international collector without hesitation. When the room applauded, he turned, walked straight to me, and handed me the canvas. "A masterpiece belongs with someone who understands its depth," he said. His voice was calm, smooth, certain, and just like that, he had my attention. Tunde was everything Lagos society admired: a rising star in high-end real estate development, brilliant, wealthy, respected, the type of man people stepped aside for before he even asked. He spoke like old money and moved like power had been waiting for him since birth. Our connection felt immediate, almost too perfect. He knew I hated loud restaurants, so he booked quiet private rooms. He knew I loved vintage wine, so he always ordered the exact bottles I would have chosen. He knew when to speak and when to sit quietly beside me. Within weeks, he felt less like a man I was dating and more like someone who had been designed specifically for me. When my firm faced a massive compliance audit, Tunde stayed awake with me for 3 nights. He organized files. He poured my coffee. He rubbed my shoulders when my eyes burned from exhaustion. "Your mind is what will build our empire, Amara," he whispered one night, kissing my forehead. "I am just lucky enough to stand beside it." I believed him. By the 4th month, he proposed with a flawless emerald-cut diamond ring. Not in a crowded restaurant, not in front of cameras, but on the balcony of his newly completed flagship penthouse overlooking the Atlantic. The city lights glittered below us. The ocean stretched endlessly ahead. And I said yes. Soon after, he insisted I move into the penthouse. "It is not my home anymore," he said. "It is ours." I thought I had entered a dream, but some dreams are not made to comfort you. Some are built to trap you. The first crack appeared during our wedding planning. Tunde suggested we transfer my personal investment portfolio into a joint offshore trust before the wedding. He called it asset protection. He said it would help with tax efficiency and protect our future children. The portfolio was worth millions in tech stocks, private equity positions, and long-term investments I had built carefully over years. At first, I hesitated, but Tunde had a way of making caution feel like mistrust. "Amara," he said gently, holding my hand across the marble table. "We are about to become one. I do not want your wealth or mine. I want our legacy protected." The words sounded responsible. The documents looked professional. So I initiated the paperwork. The next evening, while setting up the smart home system in the penthouse, the main server glitched. Tunde was in the shower, and his private tablet was already connected to the central control panel. I only meant to restart the network. But as the screen lit up, an encrypted messaging app flashed with a notification. The message was from an anonymous account. It said, "The portfolio transfer is initiated. Is the target signing the final power of attorney tomorrow?" Target. Not fiancé, not bride. Target. My breath caught in my throat. For a moment, I could not move. My heart was beating so hard I thought the tablet would shake out of my hand. Then something inside me switched on. Not the woman in love, the analyst. I opened the hidden directory. What I found inside did not just break my heart. It terrified me. It was a digital dossier on me. There were background checks on my parents, copies of old bank statements, screenshots of private emails, a full map of my professional network, a detailed calendar tracking my movements months before Tunde and I supposedly met by chance at the gala. Then I saw the file name that made my skin go cold. Project Amara. It was not a blueprint for a building. It was a blueprint of me, my vulnerabilities, my habits, my past heartbreaks, my family responsibilities, my emotional triggers, my financial assets. Tunde had not fallen in love with me. He had studied me like a bank vault. He knew my favorite wine because he had hacked my digital grocery receipts. He knew my fears because he had accessed old private messages. He knew my stress points because he had studied my work schedule. Even the compliance audit had not been coincidence. He had used that period to get close to my corporate files and learn how I signed secure documents under pressure. Then I saw another folder. Phase 2. Marriage Transfer. My knees almost gave way. Inside were wedding timelines, legal notes, medical forms, insurance documents, and a draft of a will. My will. The beneficiary section had already been edited. Not my parents, not my younger sister, not a charity. The name waiting there was Tunde Adewale. Beside it, in red digital ink, someone had written, "Once marriage is complete, execute final control." That was when I understood. This was not love moving fast. This was robbery wearing a wedding ring. Tunde was drowning in massive, unpayable debts to international shadow investors. His real estate empire was not a palace. It was a beautiful building with fire burning inside the walls. And my portfolio was his escape hatch. For 10 minutes, I stood there without breathing properly. The man who held me the night before, the man whose children I had imagined, the man I had allowed into the most private corners of my life, was not real. He was an illusion, a phantom built from data, charm, and greed. I wanted to scream. I wanted to walk into the bathroom, throw the tablet at his feet, and demand to know how long he had been planning to destroy me. But I knew better. If Tunde realized I knew the truth, the trap would snap shut instantly. He already had digital signatures. He had the final power of attorney documents waiting on the desk. He had investors pressuring him, and he had no conscience left to slow him down. So I did what any good analyst does when a market crashes. I stopped reacting emotionally, and I started designing a counterposition. For the next 5 hours, I played the role of the blind, trusting fiancé. When Tunde came out of the shower, he smiled at me like a man who believed he had already won. I smiled back. When he asked if I was still comfortable signing the documents in the morning, I touched his face gently and said, "Of course, I trust you." He kissed my forehead. I almost laughed, not because anything was funny, but because I finally understood how dangerous a calm woman can be when she stops crying and starts thinking. That night, while Tunde slept beside me, I did not sleep at all. I contacted 2 corporate attorneys, then a forensic accountant. Then I used my firm's fraud whistleblowing channel to alert the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. I did not cancel the asset transfer. That would have warned him. Instead, I rerouted the structure. The offshore trust he thought would swallow my fortune was quietly connected to a monitored legal framework controlled by investigators. The documents he thought gave him access had been reviewed, altered, and flagged. At 8 a.m., I signed the papers. Tunde watched me with soft eyes and a gentle smile. He looked like a groom, but underneath that smile, I saw the thief. By 9 a.m., he believed he was a billionaire. By noon, he started making calls in a voice he thought I could not hear. And by 2 p.m., he made his first mistake. At 2 p.m., Tunde walked into a high-end car dealership on Victoria Island to purchase a custom sports car using what he thought was my liquidated fortune. He wanted to celebrate. He wanted to taste the life he thought he had stolen. But the moment his card was swiped, the transaction triggered an immediate freeze. Not only on the trust, on every account connected to his personal and corporate entities. His smile disappeared before the receipt could print. He did not just fail to steal my money. By signing the joint trust documents I had quietly altered, Tunde had legally tied his hidden real estate debts, false invoices, and suspicious offshore transfers directly to his own corporate structure. He exposed himself. Years of money laundering, shell companies, fake development projects, investor fraud, all of it. He built a perfect trap for me, but he forgot something simple. An architect may draw the lines, but the investor owns the land. When they arrested him, he asked for me. I did not go. I had already left the emerald ring on the kitchen counter beside a printed copy of his arrest warrant. No note, no tears, no explanation. He wanted a masterpiece, and he finally got one, the perfect conviction. But the most chilling part came after his arrest. When investigators opened his private servers, they found 3 more folders, 3 women, 3 different cities, 3 different fortunes. Each folder had a name, a timeline, a weakness profile, and an exit strategy. Mine was not the first blueprint. I was only the one who woke up before the building collapsed. Tonight, I am leaving the penthouse. Not because I lost, but because I refused to live inside a palace designed as a prison. For 6 months, I thought I had found love. Instead, I found an architecture of deceit. But I also found something stronger. Myself. I did not lose 6 months. I gained a lesson some women only learn after losing everything. Never fall in love with the palace until you have inspected the foundation, because the most beautiful structures are often the easiest ones to burn to the ground. And if a man studies your weakness to destroy you, make sure he regrets underestimating your strength.